Monday, December 1st, 2025. The kettle wheezed. The cat, Duchess, pretended not to care. I sorted my mailed-away grief taught me. Bills to the left, catalogs in the chipped blue bowl. County envelopes next to the pepper grinder Martha bought the week we still argued about sea salt. This one was thick. Recorder County Clerk, Los Angeles County. The kind of seal that tries to speak Latin in a counter voice. I tore it open after the tea had turned the color of amber I trust. Document number 20251219347. Recorded November 29, 2025. 2:42 p.m. Instrument. Quitclaim deed. Grantor, Thomas J. Parker. That would be me. Grantees, Andrew H. Parker and Selena M. Parker, joint tenants. Property, 1442 North Chestnut. Lot 13 of tract number 22648. Notary, Lacey M. Novak, Commission 237-1903. EXP 05/10/2026. A quiet theft in a church voice. My name where my hand hadn't been. I set the notice down like a hot pan, not to make a scene, but to keep from burning the table Martha varnished in 1993 with patience we didn't know would run out. The clock clicked. The cat blinked her old queen blink. I said it out loud to the tile and the lemon tree outside. They did not ask. Then I read it again slower, until the old anger ironed its shirt and hung itself by the door. If I don't tell you about soup and leftover pie, the legal words will eat the room. Thanksgiving this year was here at my scratch table with the leg that needs a folded business card. Andrew brought mashed potatoes in BPA-free containers and a bottle of something that made the cat sneeze when he unsealed it. Selena carried an organic turkey as if it were a lifestyle choice that had survived the oven just to be admired. They called me Dad and Tom in alternating measures. She always says Tom because Mr. Parker is too formal, which is how people who dislike boundaries announce their preferences. Tuesday before Thanksgiving, November 25th, 2025. Andrew texted at 3:17 p.m. Dad, quick favor. Swinging by. Just need your John Hancock for a refinance prequel. Lower rate promise. Less than 10 minutes. He showed at 4:12. Folder under his arm. Smile in consultant mode. He warmed a pen with his fingers like it was cold-blooded. They just want to seek household signature alignment, he said. Words sliding like fish in a bucket. We'll void anything later if the rate stinks. I told him we'd wait for a notary and daylight. Martha would have made me read every line out loud just to hear which words tasted false. He sulked, cleaned a counter that wasn't messy, and left potatoes with a label. Potatoes eat. Love, as performed by people who itemize it. Thanksgiving at 6:35 p.m. While the pie cooled and my coffee took the long way to being drinkable, Lacey arrived. Mobile notary. Badge on a lanyard. She had a commission number ready like a parlor trick. 237-1903. We can e-record, she said. Lifting a thumb, drive like a priest lifts the host. I asked her to come back Tuesday with daytime and patience. She nodded, understanding the ritual of old men who've buried wives and now lace the day with small controls. No one came Tuesday, yet someone recorded a quitclaim Saturday afternoon. 2:42 p.m. paper has a way of moving faster than people when money whispers to it. Forgery, I said to the kettle. And the kettle didn't argue. If you believe older voices still matter, support this channel with a like and a subscription. I called the recorder's number at 9:43 a.m., navigated options that beeped in minor keys, and landed on Naomi, who made sorry sound like policy. Yes, Mr. Parker, she said after the rustling. Recorded November 29th. Notary acknowledgement by Lacey Novak. If you suspect fraud, you can request a certified copy and file a fraud alert with the assessor. We cannot give legal advice. She can't, but the way she exhaled told me I wasn't the first old man whose kitchen had been burgled on paper. I printed the fraud alert form on my brother HLL 2350DW, the printer that wakes like a reluctant uncle, and watched the tonership outlines a calm. I wanted weight, paper that pinches the fingertip, ink that smudges when you don't wait. Then I checked my bank. On November 29th at 4:03 p.m., there's a $6.50 charge to LA County Recorder EDOC. Someone paid to file a theft with a card that knew my address. The county recorder's office Sits across from a parking lot that charges $9 to let your doubt mature. I fed the meter coins I keep for laundromats I no longer need. Inside, people held folders like oxygen tanks. A clerk, B. Garcia, printed a certified copy of document 202512193487. Slid it under glass with a care that nearly undid me. Raised seal, just heavy enough to be a promise. The signature block displayed a parody of my name. The T in Thomas too shy. The loop in J not the loop I've practiced since Mrs. Laird cured me of pencil slouch in 7th grade. The notary acknowledgement says I personally appeared on November 25th at 4:38 p.m. At 4:38 p.m. My phone says I photographed Duchess threatening a moth on the screen. Timestamp 4:39. Porch faces the street. No one came. Time notarized my alibi more reliably than any Lacey could. Sir? B. Garcia asked, reading my face the way nurses read monitors. I told her I'd be recording something soon. She gave me a template labeled Notice of Non-Consent and circled the words Assessor Fraud Alert, Secretary of State, Notary Bond. People do this to their parents, she said softly, like a weather report for a storm already here. At home, I ate toast over the sink because grief abbreviates table manners. Fig jam. Then a list. Assessor Fraud Alert, Secretary of State, Notary Bond, Complaint. Bank, freeze externals. Title company, search for new orders. Attorney, elder law/real property. Evidence, porch cam, texts, call logs, ACH IDs, Thanksgiving guests, prior signatures. The kettle wheezed. 11 minutes if I forget to watch it. I watched. I called Andrew because I wanted to hear the angle he'd take. He answered, overeager. Dad, I was just. A quitclaim deed was recorded, I said. My name is grantor. Your names as grantees. Notarized by Lacey Novak. Commission 237-1903. Did you record this? Silence took the scenic route. Then his smile squeezed through the line. Dad, this is just part of the process. Title alignment. Protect you. It's reversible. Did I sign it? I asked. Selena's voice parachuted in. Tom, your signature is acknowledged. If the quitclaim superstandard cleans title issues, keeps everyone safe. Family equity. Family equity is a phrase that feels like a spill. You forged my signature, I said. Andrew's indignation cracked like expensive ice. Words matter. There's a limited power of attorney. Thanksgiving, remember? Lacey witnessed. I never signed a power of attorney. You did, he said. You're misremembering. This is exactly why we're doing this. So you don't, get confused. Something in my chest sat up. Bring me the documents you think I signed. Today. Originals. The quitclaim. Any addenda. The notary journal entries. He laughed at journal. Dad, you've been watching legal shows. Bring them, I said. Before 5. Or I'll ask a court to bring you. Hostile, Selena muttered. The call ended by itself. At 5:18 p.m., the doorbell, Andrew's cheap for security upgrade, chimed a guilty melody. He stood on the porch, folder in hand. He tried the soft face he uses on clients who forgot their passwords. Transparency, he said. No need for courts. Leave the folder, I said. Step back. He did. His left ear flushed, the tell I'd forgotten he had. I picked the folder off the hello mat Martha bought, because it meant something then. We'll talk when there's a judge in the room, I said. He swallowed a brave speech and left. The porch light kept its dust. Duchess resumed being unimpressed. I boiled the kettle for noise. Law offices of Rivera and Ames, answered a voice that held itself like a well-written memo. Elena, Rivera speaking. My name is Thomas Parker, I said. My house was moved on paper without my consent. Tell me, she said, not wasting a second on pity. I gave her dates, times, names, commission numbers. Document number 202512193487. I left out the way the light behaves in my kitchen at 4 p.m. Some intimacies you don't hand to professionals unless they ask nicely. Okay, Rivera said. We file for a temporary restraining order, TRO, to freeze transfers or encumbrances. Record a lease pendens, notice of pending action. So any title search flags us. File a verified complaint. Forgery, fraud, elder financial abuse under wealth. And INST code section 15,610.30. Quiet title under Code Civ. Proc. Section 760.020. We want an ex parte hearing by week's end. We'll need a declaration from you. Exhibits attached. I'll send an engagement letter now. She spoke the way some people drive stick shift, preoccupied with the road, never grinding. We'll serve them personally, she added, a small sugar cube in the coffee. How loud is a TRO? I asked. Loud enough, she said. Louder with sheriff present. To make a TRO loud, you need paper that behaves like shouting. I spent the evening turning my life into exhibits. Exhibit A. Certified copy of document number 202512193487. Exhibit B. Photo log, November 25th, 2025, 1639. Duchess versus Moth. Exhibit C texts Andrew Parker 11/25/25, 15:17. John Hancock Refinance prequel. 11/27/25, 18:35. Mobile notary Lacey is here. Exhibit D. ACH payment history. Evergreen Home Loans ACH ID number 0741054433. Payments $1,100 on the 5th monthly. Balance as of 07/01/24. $118,400. Exhibit E. Bank ledger showing 11/29/25, 16:03. $6.50 LA County Recorder EDOC. Exhibit F. Thanksgiving guest list written on back of a Trader Joe's receipt. Andrew Selena Lacey arrived 6:35 p.m. Left 6:48 p.m. Exhibit G. My signature samples 2018 DMV renewal, 2024 refinance statements. Exhibit H. Doorbell camera video log showing no visitors NOV 25, 15:50, 17:00. I also pulled a different thread. Money leaves tracks like shoes and damp sand. March through October 2025, I transferred $3,000 per month to Andrew for what he called Bridge Nursery Fund, as if becoming a parent late meant building a financial drawbridge with my Social Security. Total, $24,000. In 2024, 2 wires. $12,850 to Selena M. Parker Design, memo. Wedding venue deposit never reimbursed. $7,500 to SkyWest/Delta for their honeymoon because miles are such a pain. At a $19,200 wire to Parker Equity LLC, their newly minted rental LLC. In May 2025, after Andrew called at midnight with Dad, escrow's timing is psycho. That's $63,550. Love with memos. I printed it all. Rivera's engagement letter pinged at 8:14 p.m. that IT was neat, reasonable. I signed it on my iPad with the stylus Martha gave me in 2017 when she said, if you're going to write like your hand still matters. At 8:40 p.m., Rivera emailed the draft of the complaint and the TRO/application. The language was precise like a scalpel. Defendants intentionally forged plaintiff's signature, used a notary to falsely acknowledge sought to wrongfully obtain title. The lease pendens read like a red flag that learned to type. You'll need to come in tomorrow, 10:30 a.m., to sign in front of a notary, her assistant wrote. Bring ID. We'll file ex parte Wednesday, December 3rd. I reheated chicken soup, labeled Martha's recipe, January 2020, and added fresh dill because doing so makes the kitchen remember better days. I ate at the counter, reading the complaint once more. Duchess stared like a small judge. At 9:11 p.m., Andrew texted, this is ugly. Lawyers? Really? Tom, we're family. Tom. He used the informal like an eraser. I didn't reply. December 3rd, 2025, 8:20 a.m. A Wednesday that decided to be cold enough to remind my left knee about high school football. Rivera filed the ex parte papers at Stanley Moss Courthouse, Department 27. 8 a.m. hearing. I sat on a bench that had comforted a lot of backs before mine. Rivera wore navy the way officers wear dress uniforms on good days. Judge Lenore, she said, glancing at the calendar. Fair. Doesn't like adjectives. On the other side, Andrew and Selena arrived hand in hand like a brochure for marital real estate. With them, a lawyer named Cross, too on the nose, but it fit tall, tailored. A watch he could sell a car with. He nodded at Rivera as if they shared a gym. Mr. Parker, Selena said brightly, as if we'd run into each other at an opening. We could have avoided this. Andrew, jaw clenched, murmured, "Dad, we're here to clarify, not to fight." "Glad you're here to hear," I said. My voice surprised me. Calm enough to pour tea with. We were called. Judge Lenore peered at the stack. Rivera presented the quitclaim, the mismatched signature, the doorbell log, the phone timestamps, the bank charges. She used short sentences like she promised. Old man. House. No consent. Paper filed. They recorded, then moved to refinance. She handed up as exhibits the wires I'd made. $63,550. Pattern of financial reliance. Escalating to title theft. Cross tried to make family planning sound noble. "Your Honor, my clients believed they had authority via a limited power of attorney executed Thanksgiving evening. The quitclaim was to facilitate a family refinance to reduce the mortgage rate and monthly expense." "Where's the power of attorney?" Judge Lenore asked like a man who didn't want to waste his lunch hour. Cross looked to Andrew. Andrew looked at Selena. Selena looked at her. "We're, locating the original," Cross said. "We have a copy." "Hand it up," the judge said. It was a single page. The spacing screamed template. The signature screamed anyone but me. The notary acknowledgement was signed by Lacey M. Novak. Commission number matched. Rivera asked permission to approach. Holy phrase of our secular courts. She pointed, gentle as surgery. "See the T? See the loop? See the stroke order on the K in Parker? Not plaintiffs. Compare Exhibit G." Cross pivoted to a piano bench. "Your Honor, consider family dynamics, aging, and forgetfulness. We're not diagnosing Mr. Parker today," the judge said. "We're deciding if there's evidence of non-consent." Rivera slid across the $6.50 recorder charge on November 29th in the title company email she'd pulled that morning. An order initiated December 1st by Selena M. Parker to consolidate title for refinance. Loan amount request $475,000 with cash out $72,500 earmarked to Parker Equity, LLC. Cross's face did math. The judge's eyebrows did law. Andrew's left ear did its flush, almost theatrical in the courtroom light. Temporary restraining order granted. Judge Lenore said, "Defendants are enjoined from transferring, encumbering, or attempting to refinance the property at 1442 North Chestnut. Clerk to issue order forthwith. Plaintiff to record lease pendants today. OSC Re preliminary injunction set for December 19, 2025, 10:00 a.m. Department 27. Parties are admonished." The admonishment was extra. "Do not attempt to circumvent this order via family arrangements. Do not attempt to correct title without court approval. Next time you'll be explaining your creativity to a deputy in a different room." Outside, the air behaved like it had a right to be cold. Rivera smiled for the first time. Half a smile, not wanting to waste it. "Sheriff's service?" she asked. "Makes the order louder." "Yes," I said. "Let's make it loud." At 2:30 p.m., a sheriff's deputy in a uniform that made opinions irrelevant walked with a process server up my son's immaculate walkway in Eagle Rock, past succulents that just learned they were expensive. Neighbors watered plants that didn't need water. The deputy knocked. Andrew opened. The deputy's voice did the reading. "Temporary restraining order. You are served." Selena appeared, eyes bright with the wrong kind of tears. Someone filmed, of course. It all took 38 seconds. Long enough to ring the block like a bell. Back at my house, I recorded the lease pendants at 4:05 p.m. The clerk at the recorder's office stamped the top. Recorded at request of Rivera and Ames. Paper that day had a sound I liked. Between December 3rd and December 19th, my kitchen turned into a small law office that knew where the dill lived. The printer coughed declarations. I gathered receipts the way retirees hoard screws. I called the Secretary of State. They confirmed Lacey's bond, insurer, and address. I filed a notary complaint with a description that didn't swear even once. I called our old neighbor, Gloria, who remembers everything because she keeps a calendar like a priest keeps sins. "Yes," she said. "Thanksgiving. I saw a woman with a lanyard. Short visit. She did not notarize on the porch. She stood in your doorway. And you said, 'Not tonight.' Then you shut the door because pie was cooling. I told my sister that was how grown-ups behave. I printed Gloria's declaration and bought her cannoli from Roma Bakery because gratitude has sugar. Rivera subpoenaed Lacey's journal. Notaries in California keep journals like ship's logs. The journal arrived with a cover letter from a lawyer who tried to smell like bleach. Entry dated November 25th. Thomas J. Parker personally appeared. California driver's license, #D482. Acknowledged quitclaim deed. No thumbprint in the box. Not required for deeds, some say. Advisable, Rivera said. Negligently omitted, I thought. Entry dated November 27th. Limited power of attorney, Tom P. The signature in the journal looked like a child forging a teacher's note. Lacey had also notarized an affidavit of occupancy for Selena, in which Selena swore she lived at my address to qualify for some Lenda magic. She did not. She lives in a 2-bedroom condo with quartz counters and a dog they call Fur Baby when they want to throw something. Good, Rivera said, tapping the document with a pencil. We have perjury seasoning. She put Exhibit Z on the Elmo. The November 29 $6.50 recording fee charge on our family bank card. The card I used to buy them plane tickets to Maui. July 2024, $7,500. Because miles are such a pain. Such a pain. Cross finished his tap dance. The judge leaned back the way judges do when their chairs have practiced it. Then he leaned forward the way people do when it's time to close the door. Preliminary injunction granted, Judge Lenore said. The quitclaim deed is likely void due to lack of consent and forgery. The court orders that defendants refrain from any action that affects title or encumbers the property. The lease pendens shall remain. The purported power of attorney appears questionable at best. The court directs counsel to meet and confer regarding forensic analysis of the signatures. The court also finds that plaintiff has demonstrated a likelihood of prevailing on claims under wealth. And INST Code Section 15,610.30 and quiet title. The balance of equities favors plaintiff. The harm to him is significant and not adequately compensable by monetary damages. He wasn't done. Regarding Ms. Novak's notary practices, the court will refer the matter to the Secretary of State for investigation. As to Ms. Parker's affidavit of occupancy, the court directs the clerk to transmit a copy of today's minutes to the District Attorney's Elder Abuse Unit and to the Department of Real Estate. And counsel for defendants? Consider this your warning. Any attempt to contact plaintiff outside counsel about this matter will be seen as interference. Cross muttered, noted, like a man biting his tie. Selena blinked in the register where crocodiles cry. Andrew stared at his shoes again. And I remembered buying those shoes for him 12 Christmases ago when he said, I'll pay you back. And we both pretended that was a sentence that had a future. The gavel didn't bang. It doesn't usually. Still, the room heard a sound. January was for paperwork and lemons. The tree out back decided to overperform. As if busy trees can mend deep cuts. Rivera pushed for expedited discovery. Cross objected until invoices taught him character. Home One Lending withdrew its application due to title issues, which is how some companies say because you got caught. The assessor flagged the parcel. Any clerk who typed Lot 13 of Tract 226 for 8 saw trouble in red. Lacey surrendered her commission while the investigation is ongoing. The Secretary of State sent me a letter that read like institutional disappointment. The District Attorney's Office opened a file. We make no promises on prosecution, the investigator told Rivera. But the facts are ugly in a way juries understand. February 2026, we reached part of the process where math and apology tried to shake hands. Cross called Rivera with a voice that had slept poorly. Settlement, he said. Clients will stipulate to quiet title in Mr. Parker's name. They will pay $63,550 back, the total of the wires he made to them, within 120 days. They will pay plaintiff's attorney's fees of $28,400 to date and $5,000 sanctions for discovery abuse. They will sign declarations admitting the quitclaim was recorded without consent. In exchange, plaintiff will not pursue criminal complaints. Rivera asked me if I wanted to be merciful. She did it without pointing. You asked the court to be loud, she said. We can go to trial and be louder, or we can take the terms and let the sheriff rest. I sat at my table with the lemon bowl in front of me and Martha's pepper grinder behind. The kettle wheezed its old wheeze. Duchess jumped onto the chair and fell asleep in a perfect circle. Mercy is a grammar I still speak, but it doesn't deserve every verb. I'll take their money back, I said. I'll take the fees. And I want a public apology. Written. Real. Not PR. Rivera nodded. One soldier to another. We added a notarized letter, this time by a different notary, from Andrew and Selena to be recorded alongside a withdrawal of the quitclaim. An unusual flourish, but I wanted the record to contain the truth in words even a stranger could read in 2041 when none of us will be here to explain. We added, Andrew and Selena to attend a neighborhood association meeting at which the deputy would read the restraining order and the stipulations highlights. A ceremony, Rivera said, lifting one eyebrow. If you like. I like, I said. They staged this quietly. We'll unstitch it loudly. March 12, 2026, 6:00 p.m. The neighborhood association met in the rec room with stackable chairs and a coffee urn that had seen worse. The deputy assigned to our area, different from the server who'd rung their door like a bell, stood at a folding table. Neighbors took their seats, holding paper plates of cookies that weren't as good as they looked. Andrew and Selena walked in late, sat together, an island nobody visited. The deputy read the stipulation, voice ticking like a fair clock. Defendants Andrew H. Parker and Selena M. Parker hereby stipulate that the quitclaim deed recorded as document number 20251219348 was recorded without the consent of plaintiff Thomas J. Parker and is void. Defendants further stipulate to quiet title in plaintiff's name, to payment of $63,550 to plaintiff within 120 days, to payment of attorney's fees and sanctions as set forth, and to refrain from contact with plaintiff outside the presence of counsel regarding property matters. When he said void, the room made a soft sound. Paper can be loud when it apologizes. Then the deputy did something that wasn't in the script. He turned to me. Mr. Parker, he said, anything you want to say? I stood. Old men shouldn't be dramatic. It wastes oxygen. Thank you, I said to the room. And then to Andrew and Selena, I said, I will not miss the person you were during this. If you want to be someone else in a decade, I will keep the porch light working. Until then, we will stay very legal with each other. Selena looked down like a student caught using her phone under the desk. Andrew's left ear flushed, habitual as a bad habit. I sat. The coffee smelled burnt in a comforting way. Someone clapped once, awkwardly. Then a few more did. And then nobody did, the applause thinning like fog. Enough. April 29th, 2026. A wire for $63,550 landed in my account. The memo line read, repayment. I stood in the kitchen and watched the numbers resolve like a cloud, letting you see the mountain. I wired $28,400 to Rivera and Ames. I Venmo'd $25 to Gloria for more cannoli. She tried to refuse, then relented, sending a lemon bar emoji that didn't exist. The DA's office sent me a letter saying their file would remain open should I wish to push. I put the letter in a folder label for when I get lonely and need to remember I can still startle men in suits. People ask in stories like this if the house felt different after. It did. The drawer that sticks stuck a little less, as if the wood had decided to cooperate with a man who hadn't let himself be reorganized. I cleaned the porch light and found Martha's fingerprints still living in the dust, waiting like a small fossil for daylight. The kettle took 11 minutes. I watched it the whole time. I still see Andrew at the grocery store sometimes, Los Feliz, the aisles that think tomatoes can charge rent. We gnawed like neighbors in a large city. Adequate, not warm. Once he approached, April 2026, 2 weeks after the wire. Dad, he said, throat dry from a dry life. We will email, I said, and I meant it kindly. He nodded, which means he didn't. I won't pretend this was noble. I wanted my house back. I wanted their faces to learn something. I wanted Rivera's invoices to arrive with the satisfaction of taxes funding a library. I wanted the deputy to say void out loud. I wanted word elder to stop being a preface for confused and start being a preface for dangers in court. I got most of that. The house, for its part, continued being itself. Old, helpful, stubborn. The lemon tree made lemons as if nothing had gone wrong, which is the tree's right. Duchess decided the arm of the chair was the new throne. I accepted. On the first Sunday in May, I took the certified copy of the voided quitclaim and placed it in a manila folder with the lease pendens, release, and the recorded stipulation. The tab reads Chestnut, kept. I slid it into the drawer beneath the potholders. I made oatmeal with cinnamon and sliced banana like Martha used on Good Mornings. Radio on, whether predicting a storm my knee could not verify. I ate at the small table that's not going anywhere. I lined the mug handle at 7 o'clock on the placemat. The way I do when I want to tell the day, I'm paying attention. Outside, the lemon tree moved very slightly. Inside, the clock clicked an honest click. The house didn't forgive me for not noticing sooner. Houses don't hold grudges. They hold people. You want a moral? Here, if someone says family equity, check your pockets, your porch camera, your county's website. Ask the kettle what time it is. It will wheeze the truth if you listen for 11 minutes. I scraped the last of the oatmeal into the sink, rinsed, wiped the counter, turned the radio down. I opened the back door and let the day in. And when the door closed, it made the soft, capable sound of a life that refuses to be quietly transferred. That was the loudest piece I've ever heard.